Good day, all of you. Today we are going to look in lecture 16. We're going to study about cells. BIO111 with uh, Dr. Monmas Prefado University. Uh, uh, so, biology can be visualized as hierarchy. We can say that we start with atoms in elements, we go to molecules. After atoms come together, they form these molecules. Molecules are going to form cells. Cells are going to form tissues, and tissues are going to form organs and other organisms. Organs forms organisms. The organisms, when they come together, they form a population. Population, the community, the ecosystem, and the biosphere. But now we are going to study cells. We are going to study cells. We are going to study the cells. So you know that we talked about the 8 unifying principles, which we talked about cells, the energy, the metabolism, the reproduction, the heredity, the genetic part of it, how it's been transferred from one generation to another. We also talked about the response to the environment, the homeostasis, and also the interaction of the environment. So, as we are talking about cells, how are these cells discovered? So where are these cells coming from? So let us look at the discovery of cells, or at the theories which show where are these cells, how did these cells discovered. So in 1665, there was this English scientist called Robert Hooke. Robert Hooke, he discovered the cells while looking at a thin slice of cork. He described cells as tiny boxes or a honeycomb. He thought that cells only existed in plants and fungi. Who? Robert Hooke. We have another giant called Anthony van Leeuwenhoek. He used a handmade microscope to observe a pond scum, and he discovered the single-celled organisms. It was on 1673 when he discovered such. So whatever he observed using that microscope, he called them animalcules. Animalcules. He called them animalcules. He also observed blood cells from fish, birds, frogs, dogs, and humans, and he saw such. Therefore, cells were then known to exist in animals and as well as in plants. There is a development of the cell theory. There are two giants who try to explain about this the theory of cells. So where are cells found? And these guys we have Matthias Kalenden. Matthias Kalenden was a German botanist. A botanist is someone who studied plants, or who studies plants. In 1838, Matthias concluded that all plants parts are made of cells. Because he studies plants, he had to study plants and say, are plants having cells? Matthias said yes, plants, they also are made up of cells. In 1839, there was a guy called Theodor Squan. Theodor Squan was a German physiologist. He stated that all animal tissues are composed of cells. This way, the cell theory now had to develop, looking at what Matthias and Theodore studied. So you can see that these are uh, the cells. These are the boxes representing the cells. There was another guy from that. He's called Rudolf Virchow. In 1858, a German physician concluded that cells must arise from pre-existing cells, like cells are coming from other cells, cells. That was a Rudolf Virchow. Is a German physician who also studied about that. So the cell theory concept, it is in three basic components. It is in three basic components. Uh, all this is what you need to know, and you are going to be asked this. You should know that the cell concept states that all organisms are composed of one or more cells. This is the cell concept. Like all organisms that you are seeing, they are composed of one or more cells. All anything that's existing, and you call that a living, is composed of one or more cells. The cell is the basic unit of life in all living things. This is the cell theory. That because we are all made of cells, everything which is living is made of cells. It means the cell now is a what? Is a basic unit of life. And in all living things, all cells are produced by division of pre-existing cells. All cells are produced from what? From the pre-existing ones. The cell theory you need to understand is these are the three components about it. That we are all made of cells. Others that are prokaryote, they are made of one simple, others without a nucleus, but others they are made of eukaryote with a true nucleus. uh, Others bacteria, maybe others they exist at cellular level, but at the end actually we are all made of cells. And this basic theory of cells, you need to understand that it correlates. We are all made of cells. A cell is a basic unit of life. For the cells to grow, you see they're growing. It means they've came from other cells. I want you to look at it and take your time to write notes about them. Uh, you need to be able to state these basic concepts of cell theory. You need to be able to state that the basic concept of cell of cell theory. So in addition of the cell theory, because of technology and because of innovation, the cell theory was expanded, and the genetical part of it was included. What you can say is that you can see whatever is moving this diagram there, that's the diagram of a gene. Cells now contain the hereditary information called the DNA, which is passed from one cell to another during cell division. This was added late or later in the cell theory, looking at the modernization of science and the innovations which we are coming across. So all cells are basically the same in chemical composition and metabolic activities. So these are the things that are the points which are used to what to supplement the original cell theory. So all basic chemical and physiological functions are carried out inside the cells, like in metabolism and all these other ones. The cell activity depends on the activities of the subcellular structures within the cells, inside the organelles, this nucleus and plasma membranes. We can say that the cell is the smallest unit of an organism, and you cannot see it using your naked eye. Cells grow, they reproduce, they use energy, they adapt, they respond to their environment. Uh, a unicellular organism is made up of one cell, and a multicellular organism is made up of many cells. So let us look at that a cell we can't see. You see, when you look at here, you can see that this, it decreases in size as you go there. Most cells are between 2 and 200 micrometers. So cells are too small, as we say, that you cannot see them by your naked eye. Why can't cells be bigger or giant cells? So the cell size determines its diffusion rate. This question I will answer it in the next coming slide. So what we are seeing is that the cells exchange substances with the environment. Substances like the raw materials move into the cells through those mechanisms of passive diffusion and active diffusion. So water, waste products, they do what? They move out of the cell. So the larger the distance, the slower the diffusion of the cell. So the efficiency of movement in and out of the cell. Smaller cells have a larger surface area to volume ratio. So if cells would become bigger and bigger and bigger, that means that diffusion rate was going to be slow. So cells, they grow to some certain extent, whereby now the diffusion and surface area rate is now enough to support that cells. If they grow bigger, they die. They do what? They die. Let us look at this. That look at the volume of this smaller cube. Look at the surface area and the volume. The surface area is 6, the volume is 1. Mean that the surface area to volume ratio is what? Is 6:1. Mean that the diffusion rate of this is going to be what? Is going to be high. So here is 3:1. Mean that three units are fighting to a one specific particular space. Mean that the diffusion rate of this cube is what? Is small. Look at these bigger cells. If cells were to grow bigger and bigger, that means that the diffusion rate was going to be slow, and they will be dying because they will be having less nutrients. So cells are usually small. The higher the surface area to volume ratio makes them more efficient in transporting substances. If the surface area to volume ratio is small, that means that their efficiency, they're now less efficient. In transporting what? Substances. So the rate of diffusion is affected by the surface area and volume ratio. The surface area and volume ratio affects the rate of what? The rate of diffusion. So cells are diverse. There are a lot of cells that are found in different shapes and sizes, and also they are, they are found in different organisms. Some might be unicellular, they exist in their own. Some might be multicellular. Um, cells are found in different functions, especially multicellular. They are specialized, like the nerve cells that are going to conduct nerve impulses, like the choanocytes. The choanocytes are found in what? In the peripherals. Their duty is to do what? Is to digest cells, to digest the food. They're in a form of a badminton ball. What do you call it? Whereby they can trap, and there's flagella that prove them that there are uh, mastigophora generated cells in terms of evolution. Uh, cells are divided and classified in many ways. One common classification method is the presence of or absence of a nucleus. The absence of a nucleus, cells who don't have a nucleus are called what? Prokaryotic cells, whereas those who have a nucleus are called the eukaryotic cells. In biology, U means true, karyotic means nucleus. When I say true nucleus, pro means before, karyot means nucleus. So it means before the nucleus, before the nucleus. Uh, for more information, you may contact me from 876 554 2517. Thank you.